and welcome to Lab Rats. My name is Andy Walker.
And I'm Sean Carruthers.
And we are here in my brand new loft. No more packing boxes behind us. And it's a new place that I bought, and it's, hey, don't mess with my curtains. So today we have a very special episode of Lab Rats, an inaugural episode.
Very special. So this is like one of those after-school specials?
It's like a very special blossom.
In which Andy gets pregnant and learns to deal with the consequences.
That's right. No, so while I was moving, Sean goes, I'm going to go to San Francisco to the Apple Developers Conference because that's really fun.
I said it in exactly that tone, too, you know?
So you went down to San Francisco?
I went down to San Francisco, and I saw basically Steve Jobs did a keynote at the beginning of the thing, and then it was developers after that, and they kicked the journalists out, so I had to go away.
Is that right?
But yeah, we got to look at what was coming in terms of the operating system and the new hardware.
Oh, good.
And so we got a bit of a preview.
So we got a big preview coming up with commentary from yours truly, of course.
Yeah, it was a bit of a solo thing, so it's a little bit different than you'd normally see. There's not the sort of interaction you have between Andy and me. It's, you know, a little bit.
It's going to be
solo.
It's going to be very funny. Promise.
Very funny. Yeah, so, you know, just because we know that Andy loves to make those comments about Apple.
I love Apple, man. I have, and I said recently, I got a bunch of email from Apple lovers saying, Andy, you're a wiener. You're an ass. This is what an amazing thing. It amazes me that instead of going, you know, hey, it's too bad you don't like Apple, you know, and Windows sucks. It's like, Apple, Andy, you're an idiot. And literally, I'm going to get these emails, right? I love it. Hate mail. But anyway, that's okay. That's okay. That's the way it is.
I love you, Andy.
I know. Simo, our director, loves me.
Yeah, but you paid him to say that.
I know, I do. I know. Pizza and beer. He works cheap. Okay, so let's go and have a look at a message from our sponsor, and when we come back, a up close and personal look at the Apple Developers Conference with Mr. Sean Carruthers.
Complete with pop-up Andy commentary.
There you go.
Hi, and welcome to Lab Rats on Location. I'm Sean Carruthers, and I'm here in San Francisco at the Moscone Center. We're here for Apple and their Developers Conference, the Worldwide Developers Conference. There's a lot to cover today, so let's get started. Now, there was a lot of speculation as to what would actually be announced today. You know, anything from the iPhone to, you know, new hardware, and there was some new hardware, and there was, of course, a preview of Leopard, which is the newest version of the operating system. Now, as far as hardware is concerned, the major speculation on that front was actually proved correct. The newest version in the Intel-based family is called the Mac Pro. Now, it's an Intel-based product that replaces the old Power Mac tower. Now, the one thing that people had thought would happen would be that it would be introduced with the new Conroe processor, or the Core 2 processor from Intel, and what they have actually announced is that all new Mac Pro towers will come with the Xeon. Not only just one Xeon, but two Xeons. So every standard configuration coming out of the gate will be a quad configuration, which will be good news for power users. The standard configuration, there'll be one standard configuration right out of the box, which will come with the 2.66 gigahertz quad Xeon configuration. Now, people that want to upgrade a little bit can go up a little bit further to a 3 gigahertz configuration. There is 2 terabytes potential storage in this. There's now 4 bays. They're all plug and play. You don't even have to worry about the cables. You just slide the drives in. You can get up to 16 gigabytes of memory in this new configuration, and there'll be 64-bit support all across the board. 64-bit Intel support. There was obviously 64-bit support for Unix applications before in the operating system. The new one will actually support 64-bit all around to go with those processors. Now, one of the most interesting bits of news when it comes to the Mac Pro is the introductory price point for the standard configuration, which is $2,499. That's actually down $800 from the previous configuration of the standard G5. So that was the hardware.
Right, very cool. Intel inside all Macs from now on.
pretty much both on the consumer desktops and in the server lines. So it looks like it's going to be better price, better performance, lower power consumption all the way across the board.
Well, that's good news. That was one of my biggest criticisms of the Mac line before, with the PowerPC chip was slow, slow, slow. So clearly, Mac is now going to be a platform to contend with from a speed perspective.
Yeah, definitely. And just because it's all moving to Intel now, the advantages of Mac or disadvantages over PCs will become a little bit more clear over the next little while.
And what about software? We're going to have a look at that?
Right. The hardware was the first thing that they talked about, the introduction of the Mac Pro, but they also finished the whole thing off with a fairly in-depth look at the newest version of the operating system, Leopard, which is OS 10 version 10.5.
10.5. Okay, so Tiger before, now Leopard, and then what after that?
Pussycat.
Pussycat. It'll be.
I think it'll be Biff. 10.6 Biff.
Right. Biff. There you go. All right, good. Well, let's. And you're going to show us some of the features, right?
Right. They were able to talk about 10 of the new features that were in there. Some of them were upgrades, and some of them were brand new features. There's still a lot of stuff that's to be announced. They're not telling us everything yet. It's still about 6 months out, but the stuff that they were able to talk about, I'm going to break it down for you.
All right. Well, let's take a look.
Now the first one, obviously, with the release of the 64-bit Xeon-based Mac Pro, is 64-bit applications all across the board. Now there was 64-bit application support for Unix put in beforehand. Now this will go forward into the new Intel base. So all of the Intel applications that will be available will be 64-bit compatible. There's also the ability for the new operating system to run 32-bit applications and 64 applications side by side. The second thing that they announced today was something called Time Machine. Now we keep saying here at LabRats, backup, backup, backup. Backing up your data is very important. In a survey that Apple did of Apple users, only 26% of the respondents said that they backed up regularly, and only 4% of them said they did that automatically. So the 26%, 22% of those people were actually just dragging and dropping files to an external drive or folder. Now what Time Machine allows you to do is allows you to save those things automatically and go back in time to a previous spot in your history, so that if you deleted a file today, for example, 10 days down the road, you could actually go back to that file. Now you can see changes within a folder throughout that time. So if you know that you had something a month ago, you could go back in time to a month ago, or you can go back in time 10 days if that's all you needed. So there's an interface that actually allows you to see all of the incremental backups on that and go back in time using a timeline tool or using the arrows that will actually scroll you back. Time Machine actually allows you to preview the files that were lost and actually recover them with one click. Number 3 was something they called the complete package. Now, essentially what that means is all of the programs that currently ship in all versions of the operating system and all of the betas that are currently out there will ship in Leopard when that finally comes out. Now that means that programs that appear only on certain Macs at this point, like Front Row and Photo Booth, will appear on all of the new Macs that go forward. It also means that Boot Camp will be included, not just as a beta, but as a final released product, with apparently additional features being added into them. No discussion was made yet of the additional features. Number 4 was a new feature called Spaces, which is like virtual workspaces. Now, people that have used virtual desktops before on other machines will know what this is all about. And what this has is different workspaces, and you can click around using a control command and go into different workspaces. So you can set up Final Cut on one, Safari on another, Mail on another, and just keep going back and forth from one workspace to the other just with a touch, and it'll just refresh your desktop with the applications that you have in that virtual space. Now what you can also do is you can drag from one app or one window or space into one of the other spaces as well, and just update it by dragging and dropping in that regard. You can also get back to a virtual space. So if you have Final Cut open right now, but you also have Firefox or Safari open in another one, you would just click on the Safari icon, for example, and it would actually flip you back over to that workspace where you were working on Safari. Now the 5th new feature was actually an update to Spotlight. In addition to searching on your own desktop, you can also now search on the network. So if it's another computer that's on your local network or on a server, you can search that way. It's also adding advanced search capabilities like Boolean and file type searching, so a lot more control over the actual results that you get by searching in the advanced menu. Another new feature is that recently accessed items will appear in a window when you do your search, so you may not even have to do the search. The things that you're looking for may just appear automatically in the window. Number 6 was something called Core Animation. Now, in addition to Core Audio, Core Image, and Core Video, which were technologies that appeared in previous versions of the operating system, Core Animation will actually take advantage of the power of the graphics card and allow you to scroll around, keep a lot of different items in memory in separate layers, text, image, video, and manipulate those in real time. So something that used to take 400 or 4,000 lines of code, for example, for a screensaver, may now actually take 400 or 800. For number 7, universal access has been improved. So text-to-speech capabilities are now delivered in a much more natural voice, even at high speed. There's also closed captioning support in QuickTime, which has already been previewed, and there's also Braille support available. And number 8 is an upgrade to the application Mail, which will add 3 major things. The first is stationery. So if you have stationery that you wanted to add, like for your school or business, you can automatically add that in using basic HTML so that any other HTML-capable reader can use that. The second one is notes. So often a lot of people, including apparently Steve Jobs, make notes to themselves and send them via email. Now when you flag those as a note, when you're creating that email to yourself, it will actually also appear in a notes folder specifically, so that you can just go straight there and find out the notes that you've made to yourself. There's also the capability of turning things into to-do lists. So if you highlight something in your note, you can turn that particular item into a to-do item featuring priority and dates due. You can also turn in things that are coming in from other people in their email into to-do lists as well as other things from other applications that are supported. Number 9 is an update to the dashboard. There's 2 things that were announced today. One was something called Dashcode, which is a developer tool for anyone who's actually developing widgets. It comes with standard templates and parts that can be added in and automatically accessed. There's also JavaScript debugger included so that you can actually find out where you're going wrong with your widgets. For users, there's a new tool called WebClip, which actually allows you to take any web page out there and make your own widget out of it. You simply click on the tool in Safari to WebClip an item, go over to that, highlight it, select the part you want, and then automatically that will update. Now all of the things that appear in WebClip in a widget of your own making are live, so they are actually treated as web pages. You can just click through, so if it's a thing that automatically updates, you can refresh it, click through to other items and the like. Number 10 was actually another update to iChat. One interesting new feature was actually called Backdrop. What you do is you essentially step out of the frame, like so. iChat samples the frame, and then when you step back in, it actually has something to base the background on. So you don't actually need a green screen. You can actually then put in behind you anything that you want, including either a still photograph of a location that you haven't been to, or actually motion video. Now, there's a white halo around the outside of your head and shoulders as you walk back into the frame. So it's not 100% perfect, but it is a fun little touch.
So Leopard, huh? What do you think? You think it's going to kick Vista's ass?
Well, it's hard to say. There's a lot of speculation that it was going to come out at the end of this year. From the looks of it, that's not going to be the case.
This year being 2006, in case you're watching this way in the future in 2009 or something like that.
In which case it's already out, so don't worry about it.
That's right.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
Vista may not be.
That's right. Vista won't be out till 2010 or something like that.
But next decade.
Yeah, so, I mean, the way that it's all scheduled to come down right now is Vista is scheduled to hit in January, I think, for consumers.
Yeah.
Scheduled.
January.
January.
Okay. And then Leopard?
And Vista is, or Leopard is due in the spring. So that could be anywhere from March to June.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
But Apple has had this tendency recently of moving forward release dates. They said they were going to start their Intel transition midway through 2006, and they actually got it started in January.
Yeah.
And they said they were going to complete it by the end of 2006, and they just finished it in August. So,
all right.
It's possible that they'll move it up and actually beat Vista. But I mean, I wouldn't hold your breath on it.
Well, let's have some final thoughts in a sec. We have another sponsor's message, so let's take a look at that.
It's Camtasia Studio, the fabulous screencast software from TechSmith. Record what's on your screen, narrate it, and share it online. Create demos, screencasts, training, and more. And rest assured, Camtasia Studio is made by wholesome programmers in Okemos, Michigan, the home of the hardiest geeks around.
Quick to learn, easy to use, it's Camtasia Studio.
Download your free trial and start screencasting today.
I love that commercial. I really do.
Good thing you wrote it.
I know. But anyway, it was kind of fun. We had a note on the other day on the forum. Somebody said it's a little odd, but we like it, so that's good.
It is a bit odd. But, you know, it's old school. You know, advertising just isn't fun anymore.
No, that's right. That's right. Anyway, that was fun to do. And thank you to TechSmith for being such great people and having a sense of humor and letting us and sponsoring this show.
Now, speaking of sponsoring the show, our other sponsor actually has a contest.
ViewSonic. Yeah, ViewSonic's giving away this amazing, very, very fast LCD monitor.
Yeah, it looks really sweet.
Yeah, we have sort of a little...
Can I enter the contest?
No, you can't, because you are an employee of Slurp Media, the parent corporation of LabRats.tv.
How about my family members?
Your family members cannot enter. No,
I guess that's
not.
better chances for them.
That's right, exactly. Unfortunately, no, and we have to apologize about this. The draw is only open to Canadians and Americans. Unless I think if you live in Hawaii and Alaska, and then it's just too expensive to ship this thing all the way up to you guys. So we do apologize for that, and there's been a couple of people who've mentioned that. So if you live in Canada and the US, or mainland US that is, please enter, go to labrats.tv, and we'll be doing that draw, I think, at the ViewSonic offices on the 2nd of October.
Yeah, and you know, we'll do another contest at some point that's open to everybody in the entire world.
Yeah, maybe we'll give away a bunch of LabRats gear or something like that, who knows. But anyway, we will do that for sure. Any parting thoughts, Mr. Carruthers, now that you're fresh with your cloud tan from San Francisco?
Yeah, I'm feeling so much darker after being out in the sun. It's a little bit overcast there.
Yes, no, I lived there for 2 years, and it's a little chilly this time of year. But anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, so after all of that, I mean, if you've got feedback on the episode, if you like the format, didn't like it, whatever, let us know. Yes. If you got more hate mail for Andy from the pop-up.
Yeah, what is it with you Apple weenies? I say I don't like, Apple. And what happens is like, not, oh, Andy, we disagree with you. It's like, Andy, you're a wiener. You're an idiot. We hate your guts.
Yeah, I think it's probably because you just called them a bunch of wieners.
I know. It's not fair. But anyway.
You don't really hate Apple.
I don't really hate Apple, actually. I think they're a pretty good company. I think they have some great engineers. They just have some weird little... You know what it is? It's the diehard fans of Apple who can't see past anything but Apple. That's what drives me crazy about Apple.
And then, people that are like that about Windows drive me crazy too.
Well, no, I agree.
You know, people that are like that about anything, sort of, they're a little bit out there.
Yeah, fundamentalists, as it were.
Moderation in all things.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, so if you do have more feedback for us, more hate mail for me, more love mail for Mr. Carruthers over here.
You can send me hate. You can send me hate mail too.
Mo loves you. It's Sean. Sean, no, it's not Sean. It's feedback at labrats.tv. If you have email specifically for me, you can send it to Andy at labrats.tv and
Sean at labrats.tv.
Right, and that's about it for this week.
Yeah, check out our forums. We've actually, we haven't really talked about it much since the consolidation, but we actually have consolidated the CyberWalker forums and the LabRats forums. So there's, if you go to labrats.tv/forums, they'll actually redirect you to the CyberWalker forums. And there's spots in there for tech support and other things that were on CyberWalker already. Now that's all available to the LabRats folks as well.
Right, as well as a special area for LabRats fans too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a little commentary area. You can talk
about the
yourself.
episodes and all of that other good stuff.
All right. Well, that's it for us this week. My name's Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And we'll see you next time.
Are you ready?
See how much time we have left. 22 minutes. Think we can get this done in 22 minutes? Maybe not.